Oh, whoops, my bad. I didn't realize I was on. I didn't realize I was in. I was on another TikTok. What's up?
What's up?
Um. All right. So, capitalism stinks.
Yeah.
Um.
Smells real bad.
So, why does it stink?
Wait,
I would
really?
say that because of the ever since the Industrial Revolution, we've had a very big like pollution problem. So it just like it has a really bad smell.
Really quick
Our need
before
to expand is
really quickly though before that, I just want to know why Ocean said February is the perfect month for Black History Month.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway, capitalism stinks because I think any system that breeds inherent slavery is inherently bad.
But isn't that? I mean, I would definitely say that it's not slavery at all. You have the choice. No one's forcing you to do work.
People in
Well,
prisons are
well,
slaves for corporations.
people in
100%.
prisons. Well, that's a different argument. That's
It's
a
not.
No,
completely
it's
different
not.
argument
They're
from
part of
that.
capitalism.
Capitalism utilizes prison slave labor. Multiple major companies do it.
So, so
So
you don't.
I wanna like quickly like Jovan, why did you say that what rights don't trans people have? And then I want to further follow that up with we literally have it in the 13th Amendment that if you're convicted of a crime, that it is legally okay to enslave you, and that is exactly what is
He's on.
happening currently.
I ask why Ocean you originally supported that because it meant more blacks would be in jail? That's your quote, by the way.
Oh. We literally can't get away from this and into a debate.
Okay,
Sorry,
no
go
more
ahead.
Debate. We're just debating now. Yeah,
Debate.
yeah.
So like it's literally codified in our constitution that slavery is still a part of our system, and that is actively practiced today. Like this isn't choice labor. This is if they don't do labor, they are punished. And if they do labor, they are paid pennies, if that.
No, and I agree. Like I agree with you on the fact the whole prison. Like personally, my opinion on prisons, I think that we should, especially like drug related crimes. Like I agree. I think a lot of that shit should be. A lot of them should be let out of prison. I disagree with the whole. A lot of the stuff in the prison system, but as a whole, though, capitalism is probably the closest thing we have to a free market.
Yeah, I mean
You
that's the
know
whole
that
concept of like capitalism. But that's
you
like you're gonna have to quantify why that is a good thing. Because right now the free
Because
market is what's directly led to slavery, including its continued existence today.
no, the slave. That's not true. In today's world, no, like we're all free to be whatever we want to be,
And
No,
people
we're
in
and this
not.
is
prisons are slaves.
We're
well,
literally not. That's just not true.
and why did a lot of those people in prison go to prison?
A,
A lot of the time it's false convictions. It's a system that actively works
A lot
against
of the
them.
time. A lot
Yeah,
of the
a lot of the
time,
time. It's literally a
I
system that
disagree with
actively
that.
promotes that it is safer to
40
just take the plea deal, to
for,
take a plea bargain, than ever actually take it to court.
yeah, and 40,000
Which means a lot of the time
between
people who go ahead.
just real quick, between 40,000 to 200,000 people in prison are innocent. That comes directly from the national exoneration numbers. So, and at any given time, 40 to 200,000 people are innocent in prison. So,
Well, when you say prison, do you mean like high security prisons that they're like doing labor? Because that could mean jail overnight. That could mean
no, this is
like, do you
prisons.
mean prison, or do
This
you
is
mean like just
this is prisons.
40,000 to 200,000? That
Yes,
doesn't sound right.
based on the national exoneration numbers, between 2 to 10% of all prisoners are innocent, and we have 2 million prisoners in our prison system federally. So that's 40 to 200,000 people at any given time.
So how much do we have total in there?
We
You
have
said
2 million
two.
people total in our prison system. 40% of them are in there for low level drug charges.
I also want to point out just real quick, being a criminal does not make you does not specifically make you no longer human. And slavery is directly against your rights as a human being.
Well,
So it doesn't matter what level of crime that they've committed, it does not justify slavery.
I disagree with that. I think if you killed a bunch of people, I think you should be worse than slave. I think you should be tortured. If you killed a bunch of innocent people, I think you should get the worst of the worst treatment.
Yeah, but because we never know for 100% whether someone has committed the crime or not, like there is no, I would say there really is no 100%, right? So I would never create a system that does that when people are innocent, and the bulk of people who are in prison innocently are people of color or poor people.
All
I would also
exonerations of
point out.
black
I would also
people.
point out that we're taught, or at least it is attempted to be taught that words like criminal are race neutral, but like you cannot eliminate the fact that like this is led like directly to systemic oppression because of like over policing in predominantly black neighborhoods that lead directly to the further systemic oppression of POC. So in terms of this, like all of these punishments you're advocating for are directly like advocating for essentially targeting of the BIPOC community,
Oh
significantly
my
more so
god!
than ever like white people.
Everything is race. No, it's just
Except
stop.
50% of all exonerations are of black people, and we are more likely to be wrongly convicted. So to deny race plays a role is just ignorance.
I mean, it's ignorance to just keep putting race into everything.
Well, it's
Well,
not that
maybe
it's
if
putting
fewer
race
people
in
get to do
everything, it's
that,
putting it in
then it makes
context.
Do
Like,
you
I'm sorry if
believe
I'm
that?
speaking over anybody here. I'm sorry if I'm speaking over anybody here, but I'm going to say that like this context exists, and it's important that like we keep that in mind because like we just had like over a year essentially of protests where we directly saw the like where like we were where we were protesting against people of color being unalived by our law enforcement, and
The
continually we
media.
see a we no don't I don't care about media. What
Well,
we
I do, because
constantly
that's why
see,
you're
what we
protesting.
constantly what we constantly see is an active oppression, and in this case, like when you're advocating against these things, you have to be like aware of what you're advocating for. So that means you have to take the full fucking bite, and part of that is accepting that race has everything to do with this. It doesn't go away. You can't sit here and pretend that it's not. Again, I'm sorry if I spoke it over anybody in the bringing this up.
The vast majority of people are not race. They pick and choose when to cover race. And
Do you not
like,
think
for example, there are
race and
there's
the criminal
millions of
justice
police
system
interactions.
are not inherently linked?
Um, I, in today's world, no. I believe that there's. I mean, every now and then, there's definitely garbage pieces of crap cops. I'm not going to deny that, but the majority, like, you can't just find one racist cop and paint the whole police force as racist.
Okay.
But it's
Because
not
Can I
one
ask
racist cop.
why you think then that 56% of our prison population is black?
um 50 56% of the prison system is black. That's a great question. Maybe they should stop doing stuff at a uneven
So
level. Is the
So
you know
other
why
you know
just
that
explained to you that we
statistically these
make up.
crimes are committed. Sorry, go ahead.
Hold on,
I
hold
was
on.
This is
saying
your
that
place more
I
than mine.
literally explained to you that we make up half of all
Wait, hold
exonerations
on.
as well.
Stop.
Out of
Let's not.
like,
I'm not even. Hold on. Let's not. I don't even care about let's not even go into exonerations. What is it then? If you're saying it's not systemic racism, what is it about black people that are causing us to go into prison more?
maybe the parents left the home. Maybe
Why?
a lot of
Jesus.
the
Why?
fathers left the home
Why?
because they're not committed to the relationship. I don't know. They're just
Why are
the
black parents
culture.
leaving the home more than white parents then? It's the culture. You're saying
Because
it's the culture.
yeah.
Are you saying black people just inherently don't want to stay at home with their kids? Black people are inherently more violent. What is the racist notion you're making about black people that we for some reason go to prison more?
Okay. since you want to make everything about race, what about the NFL and NBA? Is that a racist league that the NBA that there's not more white people in the league?
You
I'm
or,
sorry. Why are
can
you pivoting away from what's being
yeah,
addressed to you?
you
No,
can
no, no,
try
but
and shift the
no, but
goalpost to something else, but I'm asking you,
no,
especially
because I can
when
tell
white
you're
people
saying
commit the bulk of the crimes that are committed in our country, why is the bulk
just
of the
because
prison
it's a percentage doesn't
population,
mean that it's true.
if white
So
people
I could
commit the bulk of crimes, why are black people the bulk of people in prison?
because white people commit the bulk of the crimes.
Yes,
I,
and
I
for
mean,
Fix your
total
face, sir.
directly from the arrest records of the FBI, white people commit 4,729,290 crimes per year. Black people only commit 1,815,144. So more white people are committing more crime. This is directly from the FBI crime stats. If if that's the numbers from the Uniform Crime Reporting System from the FBI, why are more black people in prison at a higher rate than white people when they are committing crime at a higher rate?
I would need to see these exact stats, but maybe the crimes that the white people are committing are, maybe they're like tax evasion or like different types of crimes. I don't know. I would
So
need to see the
non-violent
data
crimes is what you're saying?
potentially. Yeah, I don't know. I would
Hmm,
need to see the data that he's
interesting.
referring to.
If we know that
So
But
can I ask
40%
you?
of our prison population is in on drug charges, and white people on average commit 748,874 drug related offenses, and black people commit 274,670 drug offenses, why are more black people in jail for drug offenses?
why aren't more black people in jail for drug offenses?
Why are
I
there?
mean,
There are more black people in jail than drug offenses, and there are white people, even though white people commit most of the drug offenses.
well, there's a lot more white people.
Yet they're
Yeah,
not in jail.
you're hitting the nail on the head there.
There's a lot more white people out there.
So there should be a significantly higher proportion of white people currently in prison for
But,
committing more of
but
those offenses, right?
no. But you're saying there's more white people that do drugs. Well, yeah, maybe that's because there's
No,
more
there's more
white
white people that get arrested for drug use, and yet there are more black people in jail serving time for drug use.
Maybe the white people, maybe it's just like they're smoking weed. Maybe black people are like dealing it more. I don't know. Like I would need to
Is
see
it
the data. Like I don't have the data in front of me that you're looking at. You might be looking at skewed data. I don't know.
I'm
It's
looking at
interesting that you're
the Unified
defaulting
Crime
to this
Reporting
idea that
System.
there's an inherent bias here. It's
No,
interesting that like that
the
is what
bias
exactly
is
what you
bringing
default
up
to
race
instead of
all the
like
time.
directly just admitting like with your full chest that like this is a problem and
Yeah.
it's an example of systemic racism. Like instead you're trying to find an excuse and be an apologist for it.
Dude, okay, so I could bring up, like, I could say it's racist that whites are the majority of the population, yet the NBA is majority black. It's because you're racist. It's racist that there's not more white people in the NBA. Maybe black people are just better at basketball. Like, couldn't you make that
Yeah, but
argument?
like we've already like like it's already been explained to you at this point that like that white people are on like per capita committing these crimes at a significantly higher rate. So this isn't about performance. This isn't about like
But
akin to
it's funny how
who's
you
doing
pick and
crime
choose
harder.
when
Can
to.
I ask you?
This is
Can I ask you if we're going to talk about race in the NBA? How come there are like almost zero black owners of teams? How come when we look at like league officials, there are also almost zero black? How come black people are only on the playing field, but they're not the ones who are behind the show? Why is it that they're just the ones on the field earning the money for the people on the top who are white?
I mean, they're making a shit ton of money.
They're
Like,
not making as much as the team
that wasn't the
owners.
question.
well,
That wasn't
maybe
the question
because
though.
those people are good at business, they had money and they invested in it. Maybe black people aren't investing like the
And
white
you
people
think
in the
black
league.
people don't
Like,
have
I
as
don't know,
much money to
why do
invest?
we need to put race into everything? Like I just don't get it. Like there's good white people, there's
And your
bad white
dad, your
people.
grandparents.
There's bad black people, there's good black people. There's good white people, there's bad white people. Like why is everything about race with everyone?
The criminal
It's
justice
crazy.
system inherently is a racist and classist system. It
No,
was
no, it's
built.
not.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
How come
But
how come black
It
people
is.
from the same socioeconomic background as white people who commit the same crime receive higher prison sentences when they're from the same socioeconomic background?
I don't know. Maybe culture. Maybe the music that they're listening to. Smoke weed.
Jesus.
Smoke weed. Get money.
White people and black people use drugs at the same rate, and I can pull up just as many songs from like white oriented artists that are equally as, if not more violent than songs by black artists. So try again.
Try again. No, I mean, again, like it's sad that people just race.
Eminem wrote a whole song about murdering his wife.
Okay. Sure.
What about that? What
And
about the
I would.
heavy rock bands like Cannibal Corpse? They wrote a song called Hammer Smashed Face. That's not violent. Florence and the
I mean,
Machines have Kiss with a Fist.
so,
How many?
okay.
Five Finger Death Punch.
I would argue. I mean, so you're picking like a few artists.
No,
but
you're claiming that our black culture is inherently more violent than white culture. It's not. You're claiming that there's something inherent in black people that caused them to go to jail for longer. That doesn't make any sense.
No, you're picking what data you want to feed. Like you're spinning it.
I'm not.
Like
when black people and white people commit
Okay,
the same
wh-
crime
what
and are
can-
from the same socioeconomic area and the same background, black people receive, on average, higher prison sentences. The discrepancy is like 13 to 1.
Show me the data. Like show me the
All
data
of my
that you're
all
looking-
of my sources are in my link tree in my debate source document. Every single one of them.
Okay, well I'll check that out. But I can't like debate someone. I don't have your data in front of me, or if it's
Yeah,
legit
this is
data.
the problem. Is you came into debate about it. You came into debate about stuff, and you don't have data. This is what you do when you come into a debate: is you come with data.
No. Actually, my argument was capitalism stinks. I said it doesn't stink, and then you turned it into a race argument, which
Because again, like this isn't race neutral.
no,
Capitalism
it's
has
not.
inherently bred
Capitalism's the best
classism
system.
and racism. Inherently bred them. In order for rich people at the top of capitalism to hold on to their wealth, they've inherently bred further racism and classism.
Dude, like I've never met it's never anyone that's like doing well and successful that hates on capitalism.
I'm
It's
doing
always
well and
people that
successful.
are
I'm
bad.
not struggling by any means in life.
And you hate so what would you prefer over capitalism? Socialism?
I would prefer a
You want
system
socialism?
that does not inherently breed classism and racism.
So tell me the system you would prefer.
I am not an expert. I can't like start up a new system, but
Okay.
socialism and communism seem to be pretty dope.
They seem what you'd be a fan of communism and socialism.
Yeah, I don't.
Sounds
Social. Yeah, what I don't see an issue with socialism. Socialism. What do you think the issue with socialism is?
So you're a fan of more government and basically
That's not what socialism is.
government. Okay.
You don't know what socialism is.
It totally is.
What is
What's
what is
socialism?
that?
Can you define to me what socialism is?
Can I do you want like a standard like word by word definition, or do you want like
something? Give us your definition.
where government basically government controls pretty much everything.
Cool. So
Yeah,
this is the actual
false.
definition: a political or economic theory of social organization that advocates that the mean of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole, which means not the government. Literally, the community.
Yeah, who's gonna get it?
You realize for that to happen, like the government is in control.
No, it means the
The
workers would own the
government-
means of production.
The work, like explain how that works though. How would that
So
work? if
so
the
let's
workers-
say there's a fictional town. There's a fictional town with a factory, and that factory gives so many people in the town jobs. It donates to the local little league. It helps out with the schools. Everyone loves this factory. They love the people love working for it. Yada yada yada. Now there's two systems you can go to: the capitalist system of the factory or the socialist system of the factory. We'll start with the capitalist system of the factory. This factories gets bought out by some big shot owners who go, "Hey, you know what? We realize we'll earn more money into our pockets if we move this factory from small town Idaho to China or to India or some factory land someplace overseas. And they do it. And the people who work there have no say, they have no control. Factory gets sold, town starts to go bust because a bunch of people go unemployed. Now let's look at factory owned under a socialist means where the workers own the means of production. Now, I would claim that the workers who own a stake in the business wouldn't vote to move the business because it directly benefits them. That is the difference between capitalism and socialism. You're not vying to earn as much money as humanly possible. You're vying to do the most good in the community that the business is located in.
So basically, the losers that don't do anything still get success.
Who are
And then the
losers?
people that work
No,
Who
you
earns?
literally just
Wait.
described.
Hold on. Who is making? If we have a factory, who is causing that factory to be profitable? Is it the guy sitting in suits in New York saying, "Well, we should do this and this," or is it the people who are working that factory actually earning the money?
So then why don't you go start a factory? It takes a lot of work to start a factory. It takes a lot of work to hire all these people, have a great idea. It takes a great investment, a risk. You're just,
It's
you
incredible
guys
how
are
much you're pivoting away from
you
these
guys
points.
all have like it's like a it's a losing mentality that like you think you're just owed money. How about you go and better
Do you
yourself?
Nobody
own your
said
own?
that.
Do you
No,
own your own
like
business,
they
or do you
literally.
work for somebody
No.
else?
Do I own my own business?
Mm-hmm.
Not right now. But
Okay, so
that's my
you
goal.
work for somebody else
I need
currently.
to level up my shit.
You work for
See,
somebody
I'm a
else
person-
currently.
I did a little bit ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what do you do right now?
I'm working on I'm trying to start up my own business right now.
Okay, well, right now you're fun employed. So when you were working for somebody, right? If that person comes in tomorrow and says, "I'm moving the company to China, sucks to suck, I'm firing you," you think you're just going to be like, "Hey, cool thing, boss. I was the loser here. I wasn't the one who owned the business. Sucks to be me, boss. Great job."
I was fired over a vaccine. I worked there for 5 years, and I got fired over a vaccine. But
Oh,
yeah.
of course. That makes sense.
Yeah, it
So can you?
does.
So instead of pivoting away from the points that we keep making, and like at least admit that you're wrong on certain things. Like you keep like trying to drive the conversation to somewhere else.
Wait, what?
For example, how we demonstrated how your understanding of socialism is lacking and does not fit with the reality of the socialist ideology. Whereas you
does.
like instead of like admitting that you were wrong on that, you instead went, well, that's a loser mentality.
It totally is a loser mentality.
No,
I
no,
stand
no,
by
that's not the
everything I
point.
said.
That's not the point. Is that you're not actually like sitting on that point. You're pivoting. You're deflecting. You're hiding from the point instead of like dealing with it.
No. I'm right about the whole government thing. There was actually a study with socialism and communism where they had everyone take a test. They had they use this in the classroom. They had everyone take a test, and the hard workers that would study for the test, get 90s and 100. The teacher said, we're going to implement a socialism structure where everyone gets like average grade of the class.
That's not socialism.
It is though.
It's
and then
literally not. It's
No.
literally not.
Let me finish my point. So then the people that were trying really hard, getting 90s and 100s, they stop studying because they're like, screw it. Like, why am I working so hard to separate myself when we're all going to get the same grade? So the people that are hard workers, like you have no motivation to keep working when you just have to give your shit away because to care for everyone. Like, why don't
Where
we
in
all just
socialism
level
does
up?
it say give it? Where in socialism does it entail that ideology of giving away everything to everyone equally?
Where in socialism? Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like a known thing.
No, it's not. I'm telling you, you're wrong. Because in this case, like owners working the means of production literally means that people who are actively working get to decide what happens where they're actually working. As in, this has nothing to do with unemployed people.
Why don't you just go to like freaking China or somewhere.
China is a
See,
capitalist
you're
state. It's a
pivoting. You're no,
Chi-
hold on.
hold
You're
on.
pivoting again.
Hold
You're
on.
deflecting. You're
China is
deflecting.
literally a
I'm
dictatorship.
deflecting.
With China is not communist. They claim that they're communist, but China is China is
no.
not a communist system. It has a market and it has a class system, meaning it cannot inherently be communist. To be a communist country, you have to do away with your market and do away with your class structure. China has done
Oh
neither
my
of those.
God. Yeah, what
Following
about
that, instead
Venezuela? Are you a fan of Venezuela?
instead of deflecting, can you actually acknowledge how you're wrong on this?
I'm not wrong about anything. Venezuela, go to
Because like
Venezuela.
at this point, instead of like any time that we actually directly contradict you, you pivot into something else instead of like actually like trying to rebut what we're saying.
Go to
Or
Venezuela
concede
then.
what we're saying.
Like,
see, again, this is another example of like you're pivoting instead of dealing with what you were being told.
why don't you just level up in your life? Like me, I'm like, okay, like I got fired from my
So,
job.
just real quick,
I don't want to work back at that.
Just real quick,
Let's level up
Venezuela
our shit
also not
instead
a
of
communist
complaining.
country, so I don't even know why we keep bringing this up.
Also, communism and socialism aren't the same thing.
Oh my God. Okay, well, so like it's just crazy that you think that other people owe you stuff. Like, why don't
Who
you
said
just
that?
level
Who
up?
said that?
No,
Hold on. Who said that?
Because you said capitalism sucks. This is the closest thing to a free market.
Nobody said that somebody's owed something. We're saying that like we can benefit ourselves as a society,
You
as a
complained about
community,
factory
significantly
worker.
better with that.
You
And
complained about factory worker.
I postulated down the line of like capitalism sucking because it directly contributes not instead to the ideal free market, but to the restriction of people's rights.
You complained about a factory worker, and
No, I didn't.
I stated
oh my God.
that a factory owned by the workers, where they own the means of production, are going to choose to remain an American-led factory, whereas a factory that is monitoring off of, like, running off of profit and is not owned by the workers is not going to care if what they do affects the workers. They're going to care about the bottom line. Capitalism values profit over people.
Yeah, sure. But usually to get profit, you need to provide some sort of value, right?
Workers provide value. They make the money.
Okay, but you're not paying someone unless they provide value, correct?
They do provide value. That's the whole point.
Thank you.
Can
That's
I
literally
ask?
the
Can I
whole
ask
point.
what your?
Again, like,
Thank you.
go ahead, Mia.
Sorry, I just real quickly. I just want to know what your business idea is. You said you're trying to start a business. What business are you trying to start?
I don't want you guys knowing, but
We won't steal your idea. Don't worry. I'm just curious.
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Why?
We're
Why are
producing
you
some
so
product.
worried to?
Because I'm not saying it yet. We're working.
I was just curious because my parents have started multiple very successful businesses, so I was just wondering what you thought you could bring to the table.
Here, wait. Fern says he has nothing. I'm really upset. I want to prove Fern wrong that I have something.
I mean, you
Okay,
seem
then
upset.
please
You're
do.
worried about what the comments are saying.
Please do actually prove to us that you have something here, because at this point you have nothing substantive. We have brought you stats, we have brought you definitions, we have brought you sources. You have brought nothing but common sense, which is not a source.
Oh my God. Hey.
So at this point, like, do us a favor and give us something that is substantive based on your claims. Because right now, all you're doing is crying a whole lot. That like people want to claim. People want to talk about like how capitalism is not race neutral. You cried about how the criminal justice system wasn't race neutral. You cried about how now we want people to own like the actual work that they're putting in. You're crying about like all of these different things while not giving us anything actually genuinely substantive based on what you're saying, except for like it's just obvious.
I don't get what point you're asking for. Like,
I'm asking you to substantiate your claims.
Any of them.
About what?
Sources
on what? Just
on any of your claims.
Well, I mean,
any of them.
Capitalism stinks. That's more of an opinion, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's the starting point. That's called a topic. Then we went from there and substantiated our beliefs. So that is
Okay.
not that is our claim, and then we substantiated that. So now what I'm asking you is, if you like capitalism so much and you want to claim it's a free market, substantiate that.
And I want to claim that it's a free market. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean capitalism. So that, like you said, revolves around money, and yeah, I said that at the end of the day, if I worked for a factory, like I think the person that took the risk to start that factory, they deserve more money than they deserve money for that. Yeah.
Do you know what substantiate means?
Do I know what substantiate means? I mean,
Yes.
I'm explaining my point. I'm explaining my point.
No, because you've explained this before, and what I'm asking you is for proof, sources,
Proof?
not for you to re-explain what you said twice now.
No. You need a source to explain like
Yes,
how the
this
world
is how a debate works. This is why we brought you
You want me
sources.
to
This is
cite
how a debate
CNN?
works. We prove our stance. We're asking you to
You
prove
didn't
yours.
prove anything. You didn't prove anything.
We
You got a
have
bunch
repeatedly.
of victims in this chat. You didn't prove anything. You have a bunch of victims in this chat that just, yeah, they're just liberal victims that just agree with you. That doesn't mean
Sure.
you proved
Okay.
anything.
So I'm gonna ask you to substantiate that. Who here is who's a liberal victim?
I mean, the whole chat. Everyone in the chat hates capitalism because they're doing terribly.
You realize that liberal is direct, like the idea of a liberal hating capitalism is oxymoronic.
What?
Yeah, this is why you're using words you don't understand. A liberal is somebody that operates under capitalism. There's somebody who wants that system and wants to keep that system.
Well, they're
That's what a liberal is.
Well, they're fake liberals. I'm actually a liberal. Look up the definition of liberal.
Are you talking about libertarian? Are you talking about libertarian?
No, I'm talking about liberal. I'm talking about liberal. Look up the definition of liberal on your phone.
Are you talking about progressive ideals?
Look up the definition of liberal on your phone right now and ask yourself if the people today that call themselves liberals are actually liberal, because they're not. They don't believe in
substantiate that.
Okay,
liberal
so
literally means relating to or denoting a political or in social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise.
Does that sound like liberal to you? The
No, that's why
they call themselves liberal.
Hold on,
Open
yes,
to
that
new
sounds
ideas?
why. Hold on, you're reading the first one. We're also reading the bottom one. We're talking about the political leaning of liberal, right? Not just like liberal as in like, oh, I'm liberal with my money, or I'm liberal with my body. No, we're talking about the political definition of liberal, and that means you argue for a system that promotes a free enterprise. That would not be socialism or communism. That's why those people are called leftists.
That would be capitalism. So this is what we're saying: is you don't understand the words that you're using.
No, but liberal, it's supposed to be open to new ideas, like free.
Yeah.
Free market.
So at that point, you're talking about you're talking about like the personal definition, not the political definition.
What?
Like, you know, when somebody says they're giving you a liberal amount of wine, that means they're giving you like a significant amount of wine. That doesn't mean that liberals drink lots of wine. You see how like those aren't like the same
now we're
thing.
going to wine.
What I'm saying is you're using the wrong word. You're using the wrong context of the word. We're talking about political ideologies here, and a liberal is antithetical to the idea of socialism or communism, which means you're using words you don't even understand at this point.
No, but you're the people that want censorship, yet you're supposed to be open to new ideas.
Who said that?
Who wants censorship?
Hold on, who said that?
Jesus Christ, bro.
Everyone's cheering on.
Is this about to be like, why can't I say these slurs right now?
You're cheering on, and people are cheering on like Andrew Tate getting censored because they're offended by his opinion.
He wasn't censored. He broke the terms of service for two different websites. So they, as private businesses, the thing you're suckling the teat of, said we don't want him on our platforms anymore. That was a private business.
That was capitalism.
Literally.
That was capitalism, being a free market.
No, that's actually not capitalism.
That was capitalism making its own decisions about what it does with its own company.
Nope. Get ready for pure government control. Anti-vaccine information is also banned because the government colludes with these. government.
I
colludes
can
with
look up on my computer right now anti-vaccine information.
it. Well, guess what? Many of us have been banned many times for talking badly about these vaccines. That, because big
because
pharma works with these.
you agreed to these websites' terms of service, and in their
Yeah,
terms of service, they said no misinformation of the vaccine.
Because
They
big
get to
pharma
decide
and
what
the
they
government
get to
are
decide.
working with
They
them.
get to decide what is misinformation on their own platform, and you broke the terms of service. Next time,
You-
don't
but
You know what
sign.
freedom
Don't
of
fucking
speech
agree
is?
to it.
They're not acting freely,
You know what freedom of
though.
speech
The
is?
government
Do you know
and
what
big
freedom of
pharma are paying them
Sheep.
off to do that. Okay.
Sheep. Do you know what freedom of speech covers?
Do I know what freedom of speech covers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just like the right
What
to.
does it protect you from?
What does it protect you from?
Yeah. What does
Like-
freedom of speech protect you from?
Like you can speak freely if you have free speech.
No.
You can speak freely. And
Freedom
open.
of speech protects you from the government. That's it. Not corporations.
But the government is involving themselves with the corporations.
In fucking Facebook? Where?
Yes.
Bitch, where?
In many, the government was telling Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter people to ban. You can look this
Where?
up.
Where?
Alex
Where?
Berenson was on a list.
Substantiate it. This is
Look up-
at this point, either the conversation is done,
Okay.
like it's substantiated, or the conversation is
Sure.
done.
Look up Alex Berenson. Look up Children's Health Defense. You realize that this anti-vaccine information is actually, they're censoring that, but like that gets a lot of clicks. If anything, Facebook would have made a lot of money if they allowed that.
So what about Alex Berenson?
The government.
You're going on a ramble. I'm trying to I'm trying to figure out your fucking claim here. So instead of going on a monologue, how about we stick to your claim? So what about Alex Berenson?
Alex Berenson, the government was involved in his. It wasn't just
Government.
They weren't.
Yeah.
He got kicked off because he was saying things that weren't true. I can't
Oh
keep
my
doing this
God.
conversation, bro. Your name is so fitting. I'm gonna move on because
It is really fitting.
have
How does
nothing.
the boot taste? I gotta know. How does that boot taste?
Oh my god.